Hey guys, welcome back to Clown Pantry. I thought I'd bring you along today for making some marinara or spaghetti sauce. Starting with blanching tomatoes. Blanching is just, put some of these down. Blanching is just putting it in boiling water for a minute or two and then plunging it into ice water. So I have a pot of boiling water here and then the ice water bath here. I have a tub for chickens here because I squeeze seeds and peels into there, and then I have a giant bowl here for all of my tomato pieces when it's done that are ready, then going to be ready to go into my roaster. A lot of people always ask, hold on, my favorite tool for this. A lot of people ask for my recipe for this all the time, and I just honestly use the one from the National Center for Home Food Preservation. I can link it for you below. I do have the book. I'm that person who likes a cookbook in real life. I can link that for you below too. I just bought it off of Amazon. It's not, you don't need the book. If you are, can't multitask here. If you are someone who just wants to take the recipes offline, all the recipes in the book are online at the National Center for Home Food Preservation. But I just like having the physical book. You can't print from there either, which kind of bothers me. It's just my preference. So you don't need the book, but I will link it for you if you want it, and I will link the website itself. So I just use that. I don't do it with meat. I like to use this sauce as marinara for spaghetti, in which case I will brown up meat and add it to the sauce, or I'll use it for pizza sauce, or I'll use it for like chicken parmesan or anything else that I want that kind of sauce with. And so I don't really want ground beef in it. I want it to just be more versatile. It's more like kind of canning one ingredient. So I just give this a minute or two, plunge it in the ice water. I move them along the process. And this is really just how it starts. This is actually a 2-day process for me because I will do this part and I will get it into a roaster, electric roaster, which is my trick for, which I actually learned that from Living Traditions Homestead like 3 years ago, and it has been amazing to let the tomatoes and stuff cook down in there, so that I don't have to babysit it on the stovetop and stir it and try to cook it off and stuff forever. So, but doing that, it takes a little bit longer and I cook it overnight, but it's more hands-off and it allows me to do more things during the same time and to free up stove space and all that. So I'm gonna keep blanching these, and then I'll show you what I do with them. Some of these are from my garden. Some of these are from a farm stand I went to. They're not all mine. I didn't have enough. This is a really big batch. It's 30 pounds is what we're starting with for the tomatoes. And so I'm doing a mix. I have some Amish paste tomatoes that I have been keeping in the freezer, and some fresh ones I picked this morning, but I'm also throwing in some of my orange tomatoes from the garden. I like the mix. I just feel like it adds like a, I don't know, a depth of flavor to have the different types of tomatoes in there because they all taste a little bit different. I did that one year just by chance because that's what I had available to me, and I ended up just really liking that, and so now I do that on purpose. But I'm really just kind of squeezing out. I peeled off. The whole reason you blanch is because see how easy it was for me to take off the peel? It makes it really easy. I could cut this to get the seeds out easier, but I find I can just find little pockets where they are and get them in the bowl ready for the next step. I do want to say real quick, some people don't do the blanching anymore. A couple of years ago, someone came up with the idea of like roasting them in your oven and then using the Vitamix type blender or Blendtec or something high powered like that and blend the whole thing up and just skipping the whole process of peeling. Also, I think when you roast them, I tried it once, when you roast them, you can sometimes just pull the peel off. The peel did not come off for me as easily as it did like on videos with other people showed me, but it did come off mostly. But for me, I don't have one of those high-powered blenders, and so it doesn't blend up the peel and the seeds for me, and I don't want that in my spaghetti sauce. I like to get it out. So if you have one of those, though, you could skip the blanching step, cook or roast the tomatoes if you like. You can do it that way. I also honestly thought, I expected more out of the flavor from roasting the vegetables than what I got. It didn't make as much of a difference as I thought it would. And so to me, it wasn't worth having the peels and the seeds in there for that little bit of flavor. And at this point, the house gets crazy and I have to move to voiceover. So once I got all of the tomatoes peeled and de-seeded, I got them into the roaster. You can see that it fills it going over, but it does cook down. I'm adding some sauteed onions and peppers and seasonings following the recipe that is in the National Center for Home Food Preservation book. I do adjust the seasonings. You cannot add more peppers or onions because that changes the acidity, and this is a water bath canned recipe. But you can adjust other seasonings that are in there, such as salt and that kind of thing. So mostly following that recipe, just adding a little more of some and a little less than others, and keeping the onions the same. And I also did not add mushrooms because even though I love them, my husband does not. This is about half cooked down, and then I let them cook on the lowest temperature with the lid on overnight because that's what I had time for. Okay, I just got up this morning, so this was going overnight at my lowest temperature here at 200. I stirred it right before bed, and it just keeps it kind of warm and softening. So a lot of these tomatoes now are a lot softer than they were yesterday, but not as soft as I want them for blending and making my sauce with. So I turned it up. Now that I'm awake and can keep an eye on it, I turned it up to 350. I don't think it really matters what it's on. You just don't want to scorch the bottom. I'm gonna put the lid back on and let it cook a few hours just until the tomatoes are soft. And then I will blend it up to make it smoother, take the lid off, and let some liquid cook out until it's the consistency I want and I can can it. At this point, I get the sauce into jars. I'm doing quarts today, and I am water bath canning these. The directions on the National Center for Home Food Preservation are for pressure canning. You can water bath it. What you don't see here is I do add 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, bottled lemon juice, to each jar so that it's acidic enough and safe to water bath can. There is 1 inch of headspace, and I don't feel like the lemon juice makes the taste change very much. If you don't like it, you can always add a little bit of sugar as you cook with it, but I really don't find it makes a difference. I feel like the acidity level of the tomatoes is what makes the biggest difference in the flavor, and even though 2 tablespoons sounds like a lot of lemon juice, it's in a quart of sauce, so I don't find it that big of a deal. You can also just skip the lemon juice and pressure can these according to the directions on the National Center for Home Food Preservation, but I water bath these for 45 minutes because my elevation is just slightly above 1,000 feet. For quarts, it is 40 minutes if you're under 1,000 feet, so I do 45. And then I have several quarts of spaghetti sauce ready for my pantry to use and change how I see fit and need it for pizza sauce, spaghetti with meat, marinara, whatever I want to use it for. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please consider giving it a like or thumbs up and subscribing if you like videos about food preservation, growing food, cooking from scratch, that kind of thing. That's what I do here. And I hope to see you guys on the next video.